Let me be honest with you about something most fitness accounts will never tell you. Female fat loss is not broken. You are not broken. The advice you have been following just does not match how your body actually works. And today, we are fixing that once and for all. Here is what we are covering: the actual biology behind why women store and burn fat differently than men, the specific hormonal triggers that either unlock or completely block fat loss, and the practical steps you can start using today. Stay with me through this entire video, because the last piece of information changes everything about how you should be approaching your workouts and your meals. Let us start with something that almost nobody talks about. Women have roughly 6 to 11% more essential body fat than men by default. This is not a flaw in your design. This is your body doing exactly what millions of years of evolution programmed it to do. Your body prioritizes fat storage because it associates that fat with reproductive capacity, hormonal health, and survival. Understanding this single fact changes your entire relationship with fat loss because you stop fighting your body and start working with it. Now here is where it gets really interesting. The way your body decides to burn fat versus store, it comes down to something called lipolysis. This is the process your body uses to break down stored fat and release it into your bloodstream as usable energy. The challenge for women is that estrogen, your primary sex hormone, actually influences how efficiently this process works. Higher estrogen levels tend to promote fat storage in specific areas, particularly your hips, thighs, and lower abdomen. This is why women and men tend to carry fat in completely different places. But here is the empowering part. Your hormonal environment is not fixed. It responds to what you eat, how you move, how you sleep, and how you manage stress. You have more control over this than any fitness influencer wants you to believe. Let us talk about insulin, because this is the most underrated conversation in female fat loss. When you eat, your blood sugar rises and your pancreas releases insulin to bring it back down. Insulin is essentially a storage hormone. When insulin levels are elevated, your body cannot access stored fat for energy. It is literally locked away. So if you are constantly snacking throughout the day, constantly spiking your blood sugar with highly processed carbohydrates, your insulin stays elevated and fat burning becomes nearly impossible regardless of how many calories you think you are cutting. This does not mean carbohydrates are evil. I want to be extremely clear about that. It means the type, timing, and quantity of carbohydrates you consume has a direct and measurable impact on your ability to lose fat. Prioritizing whole food sources, pairing carbohydrates with protein and fiber, and giving your body genuine recovery windows between meals creates the metabolic environment where fat burning can actually happen. Now, let us bring cortisol into this conversation, because this is where most women unknowingly destroy their own progress. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. When cortisol is chronically elevated, it signals your body to hold onto fat, especially around your midsection. It also triggers cravings for high-calorie foods and disrupts your sleep quality, which then further elevates cortisol the following day. It becomes this vicious, self-reinforcing cycle. The fitness industry loves to prescribe more exercise as the solution to everything. But if you are already under significant stress, adding 2 hours of intense cardio to your daily routine is not going to accelerate your fat loss. It is likely going to stall it. Strategic movement that includes resistance training, walking, and genuine recovery is far more effective for fat loss than punishing your body with relentless, high-intensity work. Speaking of resistance training, this is absolutely non-negotiable, and I need you to hear this clearly. Building and maintaining muscle tissue is one of the most powerful fat loss tools available to you. Muscle is metabolically expensive. Your body burns more calories just to maintain muscle than it does to maintain fat tissue. This means that the more lean muscle you carry, the higher your resting metabolic rate becomes, and the more efficiently your body burns fat even when you are sleeping or sitting still. Many women avoid lifting weights because of the fear of getting bulky. But the hormonal profile of women, specifically lower testosterone levels compared to men, makes significant muscle hypertrophy extremely difficult without very specific and deliberate training over years. What resistance training actually does for most women is create a leaner, more defined physique while simultaneously improving insulin sensitivity, bone density, and hormonal balance. These are all direct contributors to sustainable fat loss. Now, let us talk about something that gets criminally overlooked: sleep. When you are sleep deprived, two specific hunger hormones go completely out of balance. Ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry, increases. Leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, decreases. This combination creates a physiological drive to overeat that has nothing to do with your willpower or your discipline. It is your biology responding to deprivation. Consistently getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is genuinely one of the most effective fat loss interventions available to you, and it costs you nothing. Here is another layer most people miss entirely. Your menstrual cycle directly affects your metabolism, your energy levels, your hunger, and your body's preferred fuel source. During the follicular phase, the first half of your cycle, estrogen is rising and your body tends to be more insulin sensitive and more capable of utilizing carbohydrates efficiently. During the luteal phase, the second half, progesterone rises and your resting metabolic rate actually increases slightly. Your body burns more calories at rest, but you also experience stronger cravings and potentially more water retention. Working with these natural fluctuations rather than against them allows you to optimize your nutrition and training in a way that feels sustainable and actually produces results. On higher energy days, push harder in your workouts. On lower energy days, choose movement that feels supportive rather than punishing. Adjust your food intake based on genuine hunger signals rather than rigid rules that ignore your biology. Now here is the psychological piece that ties everything together. Fat loss for women is not just a physical process. The chronic diet culture mentality of restrict, fail, shame, repeat creates psychological stress that elevates cortisol, disrupts hormones, and perpetuates the exact cycle people are trying to escape. Approaching fat loss from a place of genuine self-care rather than self-punishment changes your entire relationship with food, movement, and your body. And ironically, it produces far better long-term results. Sustainable fat loss does not come from 30-day crash programs. It does not come from cutting entire food groups. It does not come from exercising through exhaustion and injury. It comes from consistently supporting the biological systems that govern your metabolism, your hormones, and your energy balance over time. So, let me give you the actual framework to pull this all together. Prioritize protein at every meal to support muscle retention and keep you satiated longer. Incorporate resistance training at least 2 to 3 times per week. Create natural gaps between your meals to allow insulin to return to baseline. Manage your stress through deliberate practices that actually work for your lifestyle. Protect your sleep like it is the most important recovery tool you have, because it genuinely is. And sync your nutrition and training intensity with where you are in your monthly cycle whenever possible. Every single one of these elements directly addresses a specific biological mechanism that influences fat loss in women. None of them are about willpower. All of them are about understanding and working with your physiology rather than against it. If this video gave you a new perspective on your own body and how fat loss actually works, hit that like button right now and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more content that actually respects your intelligence and your biology. And drop a comment below telling me which piece of this changed your thinking the most. I read every single one, and I want to know what landed for you.